Carlsbad, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Lazor.
Hi, Rudy. How you doing?
Doing good.
And a blessing to you and Aaron, if Aaron's there too. I was going to lay off this phone for a day or two because I know I've been calling excessively, and I apologize for that. But there are two things came up today that were really important, and I thought I'd give it a try to reach you. Actually, there's a third thing. Another prison friend of mine, actually a pretty good guy, got a parole grant yesterday.
Wow.
And these guys are getting parole grants right and left, and this is a guy that spent probably about 15 or 18 years less than me in prison. I think he's probably got the same sentence that I had, and he is a gang member, and he has a lot of crime histories. He actually came from another country, from Armenia, and he's a good guy, but here we are again, and this is the kind of why we need protests so bad. The parole board has set up and geared their whole parole system now to be where a guy that cannot honestly confess to a severe crime history, and basically it's a worship thing. They want to be basically worshipped and praised, the parole board does, for rehabilitating the person. So the person can go in and say, yeah, I love this. It's like, remember Winston Smith and George Orwell's 1984? It's like if he just said that he loved the system, loved Big Brother, that wasn't enough. He had to really mean it.
Yeah.
So that's exactly where we are. It's like a carbon copy of that. These guys have to go in and mean it, that they love CDC and the rehabilitation that CDC has given them from their extreme crime lifestyles, and that they're now fixed. And so they praise the parole.
Yeah, I know. Let me just quickly share. There's another Christian brother. I won't mention his name, but he's been in prison 35 years too, and he's completely innocent. He did not even do the crime, but he said if they
I know who you're talking about.
If they would just show remorse, if he would just show remorse.
His sentence was up 5 years ago.
Yeah, he should have been out of prison. Never should have even gone to prison, but he would have been out a long time ago if he would just show remorse. But he's not guilty, and it's just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. If Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they wanted him to bow down, but if you're a Christian, you can't bow down if it goes against your conscience.
Exactly, and I know you're talking about a guy whose dad was involved in that
it's not just his,
right?
not just him, but there's a friend of his. There's two of them. There's two individuals. Yeah, they both been in prison.
Scott,
yeah,
I know.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I understand. I understand who you're talking about, and believe me, my heart goes out to both of those guys. I've known about
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And I think I've thought about them often. As I think I told you some time ago when we first started talking, I used to be in touch with the first one you mentioned, the main one, with his mom. I used to be in touch with her for years, but I haven't been since the late 80s or early 90s, and I would assume maybe she's even passed on by now. I don't know.
No, she's still alive.
But anyway,
she's doing well. Yeah, she's doing well and still alive. And go ahead. I just wanted to inject that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, the two things that have come up that I think are of significance that I want to bring up is, interestingly, and it's just so on target, Dr. Oz today, remember I was talking about the importance of Dr. Oz?
Yes.
And how he has a Crime Tuesday and Thursday. Today, his subject was, and I wrote a bunch of notes down while I was watching the show today, 4 o'clock p.m. on ABC TV out here. I can't find the notes all of a sudden myself. They're just buried under some other stuff already. But anyway, I had written down a bunch of notes, and what the subject was home break-ins by criminals that wanted to kill somebody. And it's just amazingly on target to my situation, and me mentioning it. Dr. Oz is the premier show for this type of thing. So he had profiled several different cases where one situation where a guy broke in and was stabbing to death a girl whose sister was also there and was grabbing whatever she could to beat this guy over the head. And eventually police came in. It is like miraculous. The police officer, having nothing to do with that, showed up in the neighborhood, and the one sister ran out the door and got him in there, and he told the guy to let her go, and he wouldn't let her go, and he turned his head just for a quick second as he had the knife lifted up again to stab her, and the cop shot him right through the head. And he got praised for that. Of course, he saved that girl's life.
Yeah.
And she was already stabbed in the gut a number of times, what they call prison stabbing, which is meant to kill, like put it in hard and twist it and keep jamming it back and forth. And then the next one, where this girl was so broken up that she couldn't even really function well to talk on the show. She kept breaking up and couldn't even function. And her situation was that she shot a guy and killed him with her husband's or boyfriend's or somebody's gun that was there. And she just so broke up about it. And it's interesting because I'm a real sensitive person, like super sensitive, more than most males. And so this hurt me a lot that I had to go through this, and it shook me up horribly. And what she's going through is what I've been through, but I've never had the supportiveness, never once, through a psychologist, a sociologist, through anybody in CDC, the parole board. It's all been the opposite. It's all been accuse me, dig it in further that I shot this guy and supposedly killed this guy. And yet what I've really always needed is the kind of supportiveness and help and healing for my feeling so bad for having killed this guy, even though, it was to save my life.
Yep.
So anyway, very interesting. I'd love people to tune into that. If you go to www.DrOz, DOCTOROZ, spelled out, DrOz.com, you'll find that if you tune into either today or yesterday's show. It could have been one day or the other, depending on if it was here or somewhere here or another part of the country. Now, the other thing is on the news this afternoon is a guy in Manteca, California, a chief of police in Manteca. His last name is McAllister. He helped identify that one of his own sons, to his great heartbreak, was one of the two perpetrators that kicked a Muslim man just because he was wearing a turban and was Muslim, an old man, probably in his 70s or 80s, kicked him down to the ground and started kicking and stomping on him. They have it all on video. And the interesting last mention by the news commentator was that they may charge this as a hate crime for religious reasons and elder abuse. Well, what are they doing to me? And I'm not trying to do poor me or self-pity or anything like that, but, BPH, you have the Steve Francis information now, the chaplain in CDC who falsified all the information to get my parole denied now since 2000 or 2001. I think it was year 2000. So I think you've received that material, and you may have put it out there for the public already, and all the proof of what he did. That's a hate crime. If this thing is a hate crime that these guys did, what Steve Francis and the parole board keeps doing to me, because every year that I've been denied parole since then, and every day I've been denied parole since then, goes back to that 2000 event of that falsified rule violation report because of my religion, because of using Yahweh's name. And elder abuse, I mean, I'm at that age now where they consider me in the elder category. I'm in the category where they're giving special consideration to people over age 60, and and I'm getting nothing because they have the so-called right or the privilege to deny us relief still, even though that law was passed that says if you're over 60, you deserve special consideration, because recidivism and people's tendency that we're criminals, their tendency to commit crime goes way down at age 60 or by age 60. Well, in my case, they're not employing that because I've never been a criminal, so there's nothing to go down from. That's so backwards and so 180 degrees turned on its head that I need people out there to feel the outrage of that injustice, of how they've turned this thing 180 degrees on its head, to where the innocent and the ones who can't honestly admit to a life of crime and to the crime that they're in here for are the last ones to go home, or will never go home, according to the agenda they have set up right now. So we need a flood of letters complaining about that, not only to BPH, but to the governor, to CDC. What time? All right, so I got about 5 minutes. All right. So anyway, those are the two main things. So you get the feel and the idea of what I'm saying. I hope people will write in. And what I want to emphasize this again, what's needed is persistence. If a person writes one time or even 2 or 3 times, it's not enough. These, whether it's a news station or governor or CDC or BPH, they're really not going to wake up and pay attention until somebody hammers at this thing like, 20 or 30 times and have 50 different people or 100 different people doing that. And I know this for a fact. I witnessed things in prison where a person's wife would just hammer relentlessly every single day to certain senators or assemblymen. And that's the only way she finally got attention. Got things like false 115s reversed. For example, Dale and I were in the visiting room one day a handful of years ago, and a guy got pepper sprayed right in the visiting room and basically dragged out for something he didn't even do. His wife was right there, and she relentlessly, they threw him in a hole, they wrote him in false 115, a false rule violation report. She relentlessly went after that. It took her a few months, and she got the senators involved in it until CDC backed off and said, okay, we were in the wrong, we apologize, let him out of the hole, and gave him back all his privileges and whatnot, and they may have even settled with him for some money. But that's what it takes, and that's what I need to keep emphasizing to everybody listening to this.
No, amen, amen. I am becoming more and more aware of people getting out of prison on parole, and there's so much cases are so much worse than yours. It's just absolutely amazing. And let me say this too: there's another guy that we advocate for named David Hinkson. I call him America's most provably innocent political prisoner. He's been in prison 15 years, and he's got an incredible story too. Hinkson, David Hinkson.
What's his last name?
Hinkson, H-I-N-K.
What's the last name? Can you spell the last name?
H-I-N-K-S-O-N, David Hinkson.
Wasn't he the genius inventor, or he invented something really
yes.
kind of genius?
Yes.
That's one of the reasons they set him up.
Yes. He built
I followed that case when it first happened.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No. He built the
American Free Press.
Yep. I keep interrupting you. Sorry.
American Free Press, or may have been the Spotlight back in that time before the Spotlight was driven out of business and sprouted the American Free Press out of the ashes of it. One of those two, I remember following that story through that while I was in prison. And, my heart goes out to him too and others like him. In fact, you're the first mention of that case. That case often passes through my mind, like once every few weeks. And I was wondering, has he been out yet? I haven't heard anything, so hopefully he's been freed. And hopefully he hasn't been set up and killed in prison or something like that, because we were all concerned about even that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's a Nikola Tesla of our day. He's built the real Galt motor. I think he's developed mineral solutions that can cure. I'm gonna use the word treat cancer instead of cure because the FDA is listening. I mean, I'm talking about world-changing stuff. He's a real strong. Yeah. He's a real strong Christian man. He's still in prison. He got a 43-year sentence. And here's the problem. People say if you have money, you don't have to go to prison. He had $7 million that he spent on his legal defense. And it still didn't help him out because he's such a target of the federal government. And in your case, people say, well, if you're popular, you can get some attention, but you have over 200, maybe 300, 400 character letters. So you're very popular and it hasn't helped you. I mean, if you look at Leonard Peltier, look how popular Leonard Peltier, he's the world's most famous political prisoner and he's still in prison. So whether it be money or whether it be popularity, it seems like if the system wants to target you and keep you incarcerated, they will try to do that. But I believe we serve a mighty living God, Free, and I'm going to appeal to heaven that Lord's going to work a mighty miracle to get you and others out of there.
Well, I believe I will be freed before too long. I mean, I can't go by feeling or sense, because so many times I thought I could feel, I'm getting out soon, and it didn't happen. But I just believe I will before a lot more time passes. And by the way, I was in touch with Peltier, whichever way you want to say it, for years. He used to put out his newsletter, and he used to send it to me, but about 10, 12 years ago, he stopped sending them to a lot of us who couldn't afford it anymore. And so I had lost contact with him then, and I haven't heard hardly anything about him, so I'm glad you mentioned him. Come on. All right.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Free.
Phone time, so
okay.
I gotta go.
I often tell people I don't want to make you the world's most popular political prisoner. I want you to make you free. It does no good to be popular if you're not free. It sounds like you got to go, Free.
The last thing you said again, I couldn't hear you.
I said I don't want you to be the world's most.
Say the last thing again.
I want you to be free. I don't want you to be popular.
I agree.
Okay.
Couldn't ask for better than that. Okay,
all right.
Thank you, and blessings to you and Aaron and all yours.
Okay,
take care.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.